All right, so we're just gonna season up this duck breast for our next dish. We're gonna do almost like a duck confit with a taleggio risotto, some butternut squash, and a little hazelnut gremolata. So we have our pan hot, ready to go for our duck. Gonna start skin side down. That's the sizzle we want to hear. All right, what else do we have on the board here? We have some taleggio cheese, which is a soft, almost brie type of cheese. Super delicious, got that extra funk that you all love. We have some fresh chopped Italian parsley, minced shallot, chopped hazelnut. And then we're going to serve that with our risottos. We have some more chopped shallot, arborio rice. We already roasted off our butternut squash with just a little salt, pepper, olive oil, done. Easy breezy. All right. All right, when we come back, we're gonna throw this duck leg into a smaller pan, throw it into the oven, let it roast off, get nice and golden brown. We're gonna use this same pan, because it has all that flavor already in there, to build our risotto. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, guys. Now we've started with our larger pan just to get some nice browning on the duck leg here. And check that out. We've already started some golden brown goodness. The skin's starting to get crispy. And we're gonna put it into our smaller pan here. We're gonna cheat a little bit, add some of that duck fat. And all right, ready to throw this into the oven. When we come back, we're gonna start with the risotto. Check it out. All right, let's talk about one of the most beloved dishes across the world of all times, risotto. This is one of the ultimate comfort foods, and when done well, it can be a thing of beauty. Let's see how we do. All right, we're gonna start off in the same pan that we got the duck rocking and rolling in, browning off, so it already has a ton of flavor. I'm gonna add some shallot. And then we're gonna add our arborio rice. And toss it around a bit. We're gonna lightly toast it off, but not that much. We don't want it to brown, so we want a nice blonde risotto. All right, $1,000,000 question. Why do you use a wooden spatula to stir risotto? We'll tell you at the end of the show. Stay tuned. All right, so we're toasting off the risotto here, lightly toasting it. We don't want a ton of color on there, just a little extra nutty flavor that toasting off the grains is gonna provide. And let's see what else. We've got the chicken stock we've made here, just some old scraps lying around, some chicken bones, some mirepoix vegetables, maybe some leftover herbs, rosemary, maybe a couple of tomatoes in there, just whatever you have lying around will totally work. And let's get the risotto process going. The best sound in the world right there. All right, a risotto method is just cooking with a little bit of broth, stock, water, a little bit at a time, letting it reduce out, adding a little bit more, letting it reduce out. You could cook squash in this method. You could cook garbanzo beans in this method. It is a cooking method. It is classically going to be served with rice, and that's what we all know and love it as, but when you hear risotto, it could definitely be done with other grains, so don't feel like you have to be tied to that. All right, now at this point, we can add some salt. We want to be careful about the amount because we're going to be reducing the liquid, and that's going to concentrate that salt, the salinity level of the dish. While we're waiting on that, let's make our gremolata sauce. What do you think? So we have some brunoise shallot here. We have some finely chopped Italian parsley and some hazelnuts. We're going to add some olive oil and some acidity. In this case, we're just using some red wine vinegar. and our hazelnuts chopped up. You could absolutely toast these off if you prefer. And then let's come back in. Now you see how the risotto, the liquid has evaporated a good bit. So we're gonna add another ladle of our stock. This is how it's gonna cook the whole time. We're gonna add liquid, reduce it out, add some more liquid, reduce it out. All right. All this needs is some olive oil and some salt. Let's give it a taste, see where it's at. Mix it up here. So we have a lot of things going on here. We have the nice fresh flavor of the herbs. We have the crunchy texture from the hazelnuts, the little bit of a garlicky bite from the shallots, which are pretty mild, so it's not too aggressive. And we're making it to look almost like a pesto here, right? That's it. Let's give it a taste and see if we know what we're doing. Not bad. You want to counteract that acidity, a little bit of sweetness, a little honey, a little bit more salt. Let's give it another taste here. That's it. There we go. Gremolata sauce done. So we have a lot of people that ask, how did you get into cooking? What got you into the kitchen, made this a thing of love? And for me personally, my story is as a young kid, getting into the kitchen with my mom, stir this, watch this, just a way to kind of hang out. And then I did this as a summer job and really became a passion of mine. And then I made it a point of interest and decided to make it my career. So I went to culinary school with Cordon Bleu. I was really invested into going, had a lot of reasons and emotions involved with it. And so I graduated with honors, president's list, dean's list. Maybe it wasn't always the case in high school, wasn't always super committed, but with this I was. And it's that commitment that then carried over into the workplace, and that drive and that dedication to that standard of excellence that I believe holds true for any chef that wants to excel. All right, let's check out our risotto, see where we're at. Looking good there. We're almost ready to add some more stock. As soon as we see it evaporate a little bit more, starting to get the nice smell going, the flavors are starting to set in to the rice. So yeah, just grew up doing this as a summer job. I've done everything from fine dining to hotels to catering. I was a hibachi chef for 5 years, believe it or not. And so I really, throughout the years, started to find more and more joy in it, until I moved to Washington from Atlanta, and working in some restaurants, I found myself not finding as much joy in the corporate world as much, and so I wanted to do something about that. So I started Down to Earth Cuisine 6 years ago. We now have 11 chefs. We are the largest personal chef company in the Northwest, Seattle and Portland included in that conversation. Grateful for the growth that we've been able to see, and it's through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, years of marketing, putting energy into our website, so it's nothing by chance. So we are grateful that you've stayed tuned and come to us today, shared some of your time. We know a lot's going on in the world today, and we're happy you're here with us. All right, let's add some more stock here. Looks like we're gonna have just the right amount. We'll see. I'm gonna crank this up a little bit. Bring it back up to a boil. Everything's rocking and rolling. We've got our Taleggio cheese here, the butternut squash, the gremolata sauce. The duck leg quarter is roasting in the oven as we speak, getting nice and golden brown. When we come back, we're gonna put it all together. We're gonna finish this with the Taleggio. It'll be a nice creamy consistency. Put it on a plate, comfort food at its finest. Stay tuned, guys. All right, everything's ready, coming together. We've got the duck leg quarter that's gonna come out of the oven. Our risotto is ready to fold in the cheese right at the end and then plate it. Check it out. All right, so everything's done. We have our beautifully golden browned off duck leg quarter, nice crispy skin on that. You can't get much nicer. And let's finish our risotto. We have our butternut squash that we have roasted off. And then our taleggio cheese. All right. You can already smell that stink from the cheese. Love it. And this is a super soft cheese, so it's going to melt really easily, really nicely, come together. And we're also going to shave some fresh Parmesan over the top. Got a microplane that we'll use for that. Look how nice and creamy and rich that looks. I'm gonna add a little bit more taleggio in there because why not? Half the block. We'll cube it. All right. All right, let's throw in this Parmesan. We'll have that at the end. Give it a nice wipe. Working clean, always. And let's taste it. Let's see if our salt level is there. A taleggio brings a nice salt content to the dish. We're just going to melt it down. The risotto is perfectly al dente. That's what we want to go for. Nice and creamy. We're going to add some more stock here. All right. Just a little bit more. There we go. That's the consistency you want to see. It should fall down onto the plate, cascade down onto the plate. That, my friends, is how a well-cooked risotto should look. Almost soupy. That's what we're going for. All right, everything's ready to go. We're never going to plate directly from the pan, so we're going to have it come into its holding vessel. And we'll grab a giant spoon here. Hold the bowl over the plate so that when you take your spoon out, it doesn't drip all across the world. So if we had our bowl here, we pulled the spoon over to the plate, it's gonna drip onto our plate there. It's not gonna look refined. This is a healthy dose here. All right. I want to add my gremolata now so that our duck, we made this nice crispy skin, right? We took all of this time, we roasted it mostly skin side down so it stays crisp, nice and golden brown. The last thing that we want to do is put some liquid on it that's going to make it soggy. There's nothing worse than soggy duck skin. All right, so just a little bit around the edge, maybe some in the middle. I mean, that right there, you could go anywhere and order a bowl of risotto and you'd be happy. But wait, there's more. Some Parmigiano Reggiano right on top. And the star of the show, crispy skin duck breast. We're always going to plate it with the bone facing up. All right, there you have it. This is our crispy skin duck leg quarter with a taleggio risotto, butternut squash, and then a hazelnut gremolata, a little acidity in there to cut through the richness of the risotto, the duck, and the taleggio. Comes together nicely. All right, check it out. All right, guys, we made the beautiful duck leg risotto with the Taleggio cheese. Now we're gonna wrap up the day with a nice lemon curd to cut through all that richness so you can go home feeling good about yourself because you had your nice vegetables. All right, we're gonna start with some cream, half and half mixture into our pot. And we're essentially making a creme anglaise here, except for with a lot of lemon added to it. All right, we're gonna bring this guy up till it starts to steam. That's when we know it's at that 165 degrees. In the meantime, we have all of our ingredients ready to go. We have the zest and juice of 3 lemons here, 4 egg yolks. We're gonna add these into the pan. We're gonna add a couple of tablespoons of sugar. And we're just gonna whisk. So we're already starting to temper the eggs so that they can accept the heat of the cream much easier. We're gonna bring this back up to 165. We're gonna pour it into a martini glass. We're gonna let it set. So here's all of our flavor of the dish. This is the zest of the 3 lemons, and everything needs salt, just a pinch, totally fine. All right, let's add our lemon juice. I'm gonna add about half of it, call it good. Really get that nice and incorporated, mixed in well together. Okay, our cream has steeped. We're gonna add it in slowly while we spin it. So we're gradually bringing up the temperature to not curdle the eggs. And then we go right back into the same bowl. This is essentially the same method you would make creme anglaise. Once we bring this back up to the nappe consistency, we could then put it into a churn and make lemon ice cream with it. All right, so we're just gonna watch this. We're gonna stir it so it comes up evenly. And when we come back, we're gonna put everything into a martini glass. We're gonna let it set overnight, come back and see what happens. All right, guys, we've brought this back up to 165. How do we know when it's ready? It's gonna be nappe consistency. Well, what is that? Nappe consistency is what we talk about to describe a proper thickness of a sauce or a custard or a glaze. And literally all it means is that it can coat the back of a spoon. You can take your finger, wipe a line across it, and it doesn't run back over it. So the line or the streak will stay. So there we go. Streak stays. That's how we know it's ready to go. You got the tang from the lemon, a little sweetness from the sugar, the creaminess from the egg yolks. That hits all the right notes. We're gonna pour it into something with a spout just to make it easier for us to pour to our final serving dish. All right, are you excited for this? How beautiful is that? We're gonna let this set. When it comes to room temperature, we're gonna put it in the fridge, let it set overnight for a minimum of 8 to 12 hours. When we come back, we'll show you the finished product. Stay tuned. Guys, welcome back. We've let our custard set overnight and we're ready to plate it. So we had our lemon zest, juice, a touch of vanilla, a touch of sugar, not too much. We wanted more on the tangy side, more acidic. All right, we're gonna serve this with a little macerated raspberries and pomegranate. Raspberries and lemons go well together. And to macerate fruit, we're just gonna simply add sugar, that's it. And what that's going to do is pull out some of those natural juices that are in the fruit or the berries or whatever you wanna macerate. Let that sit for a bit. How easy was that? It's going to create a nice little kind of syrup, almost a compote sort of consistency. And we have some nice shortbread cookies that we made here. Just kidding, we bought them. Don't worry about it. The rest of the dish is gonna be delicious enough. You don't have to go through all that trouble. You put all your work into the lemon curd. But we want a crumble, so we're just going to chop these up, just like we would do an onion, right? Very similar. Put it into a nice little bowl. Work clean. Get that out of here. Don't need it anymore. All right, so we have our macerated raspberries and pomegranates. Just gonna go onto the edge of the glass, still having all of this negative space of the lemon curd. And let's do some, we're just gonna use our hands. Why not? Get dirty with it. That's it. You're ready for your next cocktail hour hors d'oeuvre party. We've got our lemon curd, macerated raspberries, pomegranate, and a shortbread crumble for some texture on top. You're really gonna love this dish. All right, guys, thanks for staying tuned today. We hope you picked up some extra tips to take your plating game to the next level. A few cooking tips thrown in there for good measure, why not? All right, so this was our lemon curd with macerated raspberries, a shortbread crumble. Let's try it. I'm dying here to try this thing. Yes, so we've got that nice consistency. We're gonna pull together some of the raspberries, the pomegranate, the shortbread crumble. That's the perfect bite. Super light, tangy, acidic. Goes nicely with the pomegranate really well, actually. That's it, that's a wrap. Stay tuned for the next episode.